Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. The Hacienda by Isabel Canas is set in the tumultuous aftermath of the Mexican War of Independence. Beatrice's father, a general, was executed, her home taken from her, and she and her mother are at the mercy of her extended family, who have no desire to help them. When Beatrice meets the wealthy and handsome Rodolfo, she leaps at the chance to save herself and seize the security and freedom his estate offers her. But the Hacienda San Isidro is not the sanctuary she was hoping for, as she comes to discover that her new husband's first wife died under mysterious circumstances. Haunting visions, sleepless nights full of noise, and images of disappearing blood and bodies plague Beatrice in her every move. With the help of a local priest, Beatrice is determined to rid the hacienda of whatever nightmare disturbs it before she becomes the next victim. Oh, you guys, so good. This was just so good, you guys. Atmospheric and full of tension, drama, creepiness. I loved it. I am quickly starting to realize that I think I really enjoy historical fiction within the horror genre. You guys, seriously, I've kind of read a few historical fiction horror books in the past couple years, and each one I have really greatly enjoyed and appreciated. So I'm just really getting into that genre, that subgenre within historical fiction. So yeah, The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. I hope I am pronouncing her name correctly. I looked up a pronunciation guide for her last name, and there were like about a dozen different pronunciations, and I was like, well, which one am I supposed to hit? So I think I found the right one. Isabel Canas. I'm probably still not pronouncing it very correctly, but that's kind of my best attempt there. So, naturally, comparisons with this book to that of Sylvia Moreno Garcia's Mexican Gothic are inevitable. And yeah, I really liked both. I liked this book and Mexican Gothic. They're both their own thing. They're both doing their own thing at the end of the day. They are not identical. I think on the surface there's almost something that seems similar, because you do in both books you have a woman who is going to this family home, that the family is creepy, the situations going on are creepy. So on the surface you got like those things that are similar, but with Mexican Gothic, you have the timeline, that the era that's different, because that took place. God, when did Mexican Gothic take place, you guys? Because that was like the mid 1900s, wasn't it? I think it was the mid 1900s. I'm trying to remember. Whereas this book takes place kind of in like the 19, or sorry, in the 1820s, after the Mexican War of Independence. So yeah, both books, there are similarities. They're historical fiction horror, and they're both dealing with creepy families, creepy houses, you know. But yeah, the historical context for both that's going on, and kind of the themes that are going on, are vastly kind of different. They're both doing their own unique thing, which I appreciated. So yeah, don't start the Hacienda thinking that's just maybe a ripoff of Mexican Gothic, because it's not. So, just a quick background on the Mexican War of Independence. That was something, while I was reading this book, I had to kind of little by little do a little bit of research, because I only know about the Mexican War of Independence kind of through name only. It's not a part of history that I kind of specialize in and look into. Um, History is really just a hobby for me, you know. So the way I consume history through things like books and movies and television. And when I'm introduced to something new that I'm not familiar with, that's when I kind of start doing a lot more research on my own, you know, like as like an amateur historian, I guess, if you want to think about it that way. So I found what was going on in the Hacienda to be very eye-opening, and allowing me, I really thank it for allowing me to look more into the Mexican War of Independence. And from what I gathered through the quick research that I did, the Mexican War of Independence occurred like from 1810 to 1821. So it was like an 11-year conflict that was really tumultuous, and a lot of it had to do with like government issues and economical issues and religious issues and racial tension that was going on. Just a lot of stuff kind of colliding into this whole 11-year conflict. And my understanding too is that a lot of it has to do with like the colonization of Spain within this area. Because during this time period, like at the start of the 1800s, the early 1800s, Napoleon Bonaparte had conquered Spain. He took over Spain. So then here comes Spain to like Mexico, and there's that colonization of the Spanish with these people, you know. So there's all of this big dramatic backstory and history within this narrative that I really appreciated. Just the amount of research that Isabel Canas took, and the historical background, because that historical background really helps inform these characters and this environment. The tensions, you know, because there's definitely a lot of tension within this book, you know, not just between the characters, but like just with the land and the government. There's things going on that aren't even really at the front of this novel, but things that are really just more in the background of the novel, you know. Isabel Canas does a great job of kind of delivering that historical background and backdrop, and how it helps inform who these characters were like during the war and who they are after the war, and the lingering effects of the war and everything. So I really appreciated all of that, and yeah, this novel, I really thank it for kind of allowing me to just go do that research, you know, and kind of get a bit more of that historical context, because I love things like that. So yeah, me summarizing all of that with the Mexican War of Independence, I do feel the need to almost apologize, because I feel like I am just kind of delivering a very simplified version of that. So I mean, yeah, that's the point of historical fiction, you know, to continue to research and to continue to educate yourself, you know. So I definitely recommend that if you're someone like me and the Mexican War of Independence is really only something you heard about in name only, I definitely recommend taking that opportunity when you conclude this book to look a little bit more into it, because there's a lot. So heading into more of this book pretty much opens like just a year or two like after the events of the Mexican War of Independence. We're introduced to Beatrice. Her father was a general. Her father gets executed at the start of this novel. So Beatrice and her mother, they're on the run. The only place they can go to is their extended family, but their extended family has no desire to really even help them, because it's like they're both kind of on different sides of the war. It was kind of my understanding, what I was kind of gathering, that all the various different sides of her family just had different feelings and opinions about certain things. So Beatrice and her mother, they go to live with her extended family, but yeah, they're missing kind of their past comforts and privileges that they had and whatnot. And more than anything, this whole novel is Beatrice's journey, not only into womanhood, but also her need to survive, her whole sense of self-preservation, really. Beatrice has to look after herself more than anything, even if it means risking her own personal happiness, even if there's things she doesn't want to do. So, of course, when she goes to this party early in the novel and she meets this really handsome man named Rodolfo, Rodolfo is a man who's very wealthy, he's very handsome, he has managed to kind of come out on top after the war and whatnot, because you get the idea that a lot of people struggled after the war, but then there's also the people that really profited and benefited from the war in their own way. So Rodolfo is kind of one of those men that's kind of really profited from that, and so he's still doing just great. His estate's not doing too great, because once Beatrice gets to his estate, it's kind of decrepit and falling apart a little bit, and she's like, oh, I gotta fix this place up. But yeah, at this party, this is where she meets Rodolfo, and she really sees him as the answer to her prayers, like, oh, I can run away with this guy, I can live a life of comfort again, I can have safety and security, and in turn this will help my mother, she can get away from her extended family, you know. So there's all of that going on at the start of this novel, and Isabel Canas, she does a great job of just kind of speedily getting you through all that. You know, she doesn't bog it down overly too much with a lot of unnecessary details. She really flies through a lot of stuff so you can get to Rodolfo's estate and whatnot. So yeah, I really appreciated the pacing of this novel, especially at the beginning. Just the rapid pace of it, and yeah, getting Beatrice with Rodolfo and her getting to his family home and whatnot. And as I said, once Beatrice does get to the Hacienda. That's when she realizes, oh Lord, this place is kind of falling apart a little bit. It's a little decrepit, but I think I can make it work and fix it. And yeah, she's introduced to Rodolfo's sister, Juana. Juana is a no-nonsense woman. She does her own thing. She says what's on her mind. She definitely does not like Beatrice at all. And also, this novel turns a little bit into Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, because you also quickly find out that Rodolfo had a first wife who died mysteriously under some mysterious circumstances. So a lot of this novel is Beatrice trying to figure out, okay, what happened to his first wife? Why does no one really talk about her? Why is she always just kind of skimmed over, you know? So yeah, there's definitely some heavy Rebecca vibes going on. And as I mentioned really quickly at the start of this review, this is what I would consider like a historical fiction horror, you know, its own little subgenre. So there are definitely big, heavy horror elements to this novel. Of course, as soon as Beatrice gets to this house, that's when she starts having like haunting dreams and visions, and she sees like a dead body behind a wall. But then when she goes back, the wall is back up and there's no body there, you know, and yeah, there's blood and the blood disappears at some point, and yeah, she's hearing all sorts of strange noises at night. So you get all those classic tropes within like the gothic horror genre, with yeah, noises and visions, and is Beatrice going crazy? Is she really seeing what she's seeing, you know? Or yeah, is she hallucinating? So, of course, rightfully so, Beatrice is like, oh my god, I need an exorcism. And this is where we were introduced to Padre Andres. Yeah, guys, the hot priest of this novel. Hell yes. I just recommend this novel alone for the hot priest. My god. Woo! I loved the character of Padre Andres. Yeah, guys, I loved his really intense, dark backstory, how he became a priest and why, and his family history, his relationship to the hacienda that Rodolfo owns and whatnot. And yeah, I really loved the chemistry between Beatrice and Andres. I think Isabel Canas did a fantastic job developing that relationship, that you bought it, you believed it, you're rooted for them. There is just an incredible amount of sexual tension between those two, because obviously he's a priest. There's going to be sexual tension, you guys. Overall, you guys, I really liked and enjoyed this novel. Like I said, it's its own thing from Mexican Gothic. They're both doing their completely own thing. I'm just a sucker for Gothic type novels, especially if it deals with a woman who marries some man and she goes to some nice house. But yeah, there's doom and gloom and mystery and secrets. You know, I'm a sucker for that sort of thing. And as I even mentioned, I'm really starting to get into the horror genre when it comes to historical fiction. There's just something that I'm really gravitating toward, that I'm really liking, and kind of the mood and atmosphere of that. And yeah, this book, I think it had a really great pace to it. I think it moved quite nicely. It never felt like it like stalled in place anywhere, if you get my drift. I really liked the characters. All the characters were really fascinating. Yeah, I think Beatrice and Andres were the most fleshed out and the most multidimensional. Everybody else was definitely a lot more one-dimensional, and like even Juana, Rodolfo's sister, I definitely almost found her very stereotypical. It kind of reached a certain point, especially by the end of the novel. It's like, oh, she's just very stereotypical. She's just an archetype. You know, there's not really a hell of a lot there to her. But it's like, even the characters who were more one dimensional and not as well fleshed out, it's like I still even liked them and their role and function within the novel, because yeah, at the end of the day, this book is really Beatrice's story. You know, her story into womanhood, and her story into self preservation, and her relationship with Padre Andres and whatnot. So yeah, and yeah, once again, I can't repeat enough, I love the historical backdrop of this novel more than anything. Like I mentioned, it just really helps inform these characters and this world and the atmosphere, and just even the land, you know, around them, you know. Just very incredibly well done, and I just really applaud Isabel Canas, just that meticulous research she did, and just you can just feel that passion that she had for the subject. You know, you can really feel that she had a passion for the subject, and almost like this responsibility to properly tell this story and to tell this historical background and everything. So yeah, I really appreciated this book, and if you love historical fiction, especially the subgenre of horror within that genre, I think you will really appreciate this book, and I definitely recommend you give it a shot. And yeah, if you like any of the following, you guys, if you like Rebecca, or the movie Crimson Peak, or Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher, or yeah, obviously Mexican Gothic. If you like any combination of any of those things, I think you might want to pick this up, because every bit of that I just mentioned, I was definitely getting vibes of every bit of that in this book, and I loved it. So you guys, that is it for my thoughts and feelings on The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. In the comments below, have you guys read this book? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you plan on reading it sometime in the future if you haven't read it yet? Just let me know your thoughts down below. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.